Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Just Fine podcast. I feel old. I am old. Now, yes, I am only 23 years old, but so many aspects of my life just make me feel old. Like my body hurts. My body hurts like all the time. Maybe it's the years and years of torture I've put it through with the various sports I've done in my life since the age of 4. Who knows? But all I know is my back hurts, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, everything hurts. Like, I will always tell it to the kids I coach, like, oh, I feel so old after they ask me to, like, show them a skill, whether, like, a handstand or a round off or a back tuck, and I always feel it, like, 2 seconds after I show it, and when I say I'm old, they're always like, you're not old, you're still young, aren't you in college? Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not old. My body is breaking down at the same rate as it would like a 50 or 60 year old who's just gone through life. Like, it's gotten to the point where, like, so I like to sleep with my bedroom like freezing cold. It has to be. Like, I don't like it being above 70 degrees because it's very easy for me to sweat. And if I sweat while I sleep, I wake up and I'm in a pissy mood. I can't go back to sleep, especially if I wake up when I'm sweating. So it has to be freezing cold in my room. But it's gotten to the point where, because I keep it freezing cold, I have to warm up my feet at like 5 a.m. So instinctively, I wake up at 5 a.m., whether it's to wake up to get up or whatever. I have a pair of socks by my bed that I have to put on, and I just lay there so that my feet can warm up within the socks, and I can get out of bed like 10-15 minutes after I put them on because my feet have warmed up and I can go about my day. Like, to me, that's my body breaking down. Because, like, when I first started college, I could just pop out of bed and it'd be fine. But now my body has to gradually warm up. So that is definitely a sign that I'm getting old. And you know how old people will always say, like, oh, Sonny, I can tell when it's about to rain because I can feel it in my knees. They're not bullshitting. They're telling the truth. Because my knee does that. Like, I've had major reconstructive surgery on my knee. And sure, I'm in pain. Not all the time, but, like, it's always stiff right before it rains. Like, the day before it rains, my knee is always stiff. So, old people are not lying, and that's just another indicator that I am, in fact, old. Because whenever old people used to say that, I was like, that's bullshit. And then I fucked up my knee, and now it's the truth. So now I'm the one who says it, but I'm only 23. So I sound like an old person whenever I talk about my knee hurting and me being able to predict the weather. Maybe it's a superpower. I can predict the weather with my knee. I can be called Storm Knee or Knee Storm or whatever. Anyways, and like growing up, my parents, specifically my mom, would tell me and my brother whether or not we had new or old souls, and she would always tell my brother that he had an old soul and I had a new soul. But now that I'm older, I really feel like I have an old soul. Because, like, I do what anyone does when they have a suspicion about themselves. I Googled it. And I Googled signs that you're an old soul. And everything on that list applied to me. I identify more with older people. I prefer old TV shows. Like, everything on the list just checks off. So I really feel like an old soul. Like, I feel truly like I'm a 42-year-old person, or have a 42-year-old's frame of mind within a 23-year-old's body. So I'm just waiting for my physical body to catch up to the age my brain is. And I mean, also, I've always looked older than I am, not significantly, but like when in high school, when I needed to go buy a Sharpie or something, when I checked out, no one ever asked for my ID, because you have to be 18 to buy Sharpies, and I needed to buy Sharpies like throughout high school, and I would just go in and grab them, and no one ever carded me. And then when I got older and I started working and started hanging out with friends at bars and clubs, rarely ever got carded. And then once I became 21, still nothing really happened. People would just kind of wave me through just because I looked older, or I carried myself like I was older. I wasn't like nervous, or like I didn't have like a bead of sweat as I entered. I couldn't give a fuck. Also because I don't drink and I don't do any of that stuff. So maybe it was just like a relaxed, like, I'm not going to do anything while I'm here anyway. So maybe that was why too. But I don't know. People have always thought I was older than I am. And it's super easy to convince the kids I teach that I'm like in my 30s, because I can just tell them I'm in my 30s and they'll say, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that's believable. So I'm just going to, how about this? I'll spend today's episode, or this week's episode, just talking about the different reasons or aspects that I feel old. Like, my outlook on life, I feel, really mirrors an old person's view of life. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a rageful person, but it's very easy to annoy me. And I feel that the reaction I have to things that annoy me is how old people would react to shit that annoys them. I'll give you an example of something that happened a few days ago. And like, when something annoying happens to me, or I witness something that I just find annoying or it upsets me, it will ruin my day. And if enough of it happens, it'll ruin my week. And I saw a multitude of things that this one person did, not even to me, just by existing, he did them. And it ruined like 3 of my days. So it ruined the day it happened, the next day, and the day after that. And sure, when I explain this may sound like a crazy person talking, like, I don't get how that would ruin your day. But that's just how I see the world and how I interpret the world. Little shit annoys me. Obviously, big shit in the world, like the news and stuff that's happening in the world, obviously that upsets me. I'm human. I have emotions. But it's tiny shit. Stuff that other people wouldn't pay attention to or would just like brush off. That stuff stays with me. It like seeps into my brain, builds a little house, and just lives there rent-free in my mind. So, a few days ago, I went to H-E-B. Greatest store on earth. It's like my Disney World. Love it, H-E-B. I love H-E-B so damn much. Y'all don't even know. It's just nostalgic for me. My hometown had H-E-B. All the people there knew me. As a little kid, when my mom would take us to the grocery store, me and my brother, we just loved H-E-B. All the people there are nice, and like the people in the deli section. This specifically happened when I was a toddler and my brother hadn't been born yet, and I was in the basket. My mom would go to the deli section and get like deli meats and cheeses and stuff. And I would always ask Mom if I could have a slice of cheese. And the employees at the deli counter would give me a slice of cheese because I love cheese. And they would call me the cheese man. So whenever we walked by, they would say, oh my goodness, the cheese man is here. And then give me a slice of cheese. So I love H-E-B for that reason. And I tend to go to H-E-B like whenever I can find an excuse, but usually just once a week. And with quarantine, I will go to H-E-B at like 7 a.m. because that's when they open. Just because I want to avoid crowds. I want to get in, get out as quickly as possible. And because I go when it opens at 7 a.m., 2 groups of people are usually there at the same time as me when it opens. Old people and people who have a lot of shit to do for the rest of the day and want to get their stuff going early. So I park my car and I'm walking in to H-E-B. It's a beautiful day. Birds are singing. Sun is just rising. And then I see this person. Fashion annoys me. Let me clarify. Bad fashion annoys me. Like, my mom beat it into me and my brother's head on how to, like, color coordinate, what not to wear, what to wear, like, to make sure the shirts or shorts we wear are not wrinkled, and, like, to make sure stuff fits and it's not too baggy, that kind of thing. Common sense, you would say. This guy was not taught that as a child, or ever. Because, again, this is 7 o'clock in the morning. I see this guy. He's walking in. We're walking into HEB about the same time. He is wearing a neon, bright neon green or neon yellow. I can never tell the difference, but some sort of bright neon shirt. Dark tan khaki cargo shorts. Not knee high, but like mid shin high white socks and black shoes. All black tennis shoes. Black laces, black design, no other color on it, just black. With orange rimmed sunglasses. Bright orange. Don't you want to throw up just thinking about that outfit in your head? I do. I quite literally almost stopped in my tracks and threw up in the middle of the parking lot when I saw this dude. And to make matters worse, the front of his shirt was relatively pristine. The back of his shirt, full-on wrinkles. I don't even know how that's possible. Wrinkles out the fucking wazoo. So I don't know if it was like bunched up somehow in his closet while the front stayed smooth, wrinkle-free, or he just ironed the front part of his shirt. I don't understand. But nonetheless, this dude walks in. And I'll admit, already, I see him, and my day is ruined. I could have won the lottery, got a new puppy, and told that I've gotten my master's degree without having to take the rest of the courses I'm supposed to take, and my day will still have been ruined. I can't even talk. I'm still pissed thinking about it still. And so he walks in ahead of me, just a little bit ahead of me, and you know when you walk in to a store at the same time as someone else, you kind of notice them as you walk around the store. They don't really notice you, but you notice them. You're like, oh, hey, it's that guy. We came here at the same time. Hey, what's up, man? But you don't actually say that. You just say that in your head. That might just be me. I don't know. But because this guy pissed me off with his horrible taste in outfits, I keep an eye on him in the store. So we each get our carts, sanitized carts, and we go about our business within the store. Now, he makes a beeline from the entrance to the middle of the store. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And so I go about my business. I have a routine. Everyone should have a routine and should at least plan the route that they're going to take to get all the shit they need. If you just go in and just kind of cruise around the store, like, oh, I'll get this, and oh, I'll get this. Oh, I forgot that. I'll just go back. No. Sane people plan out a route in their head. So I go to the bread section. I get tortillas or whatever. And I'm going about my business. And I see the guy. I see him again. With his stupid, bright orange sunglasses hanging on the collar of his bright neon shirt. His dumbass cargo shorts. And I glance in his basket. Because everyone glances in each other's baskets, right? That's just what you do. Everyone glances at each other's baskets, whether you say you do or not, you do. You always look at someone else's basket. Anyways, I pass by him, and I glance in his basket, and he has committed another travesty in my mind. Strike 2 for this dude. He has a bunch of frozen shit in his cart. Now, you might be thinking, Donald, well, what's wrong with that? That's not crazy. That's just him shopping. No, that's wrong. That is not how you are supposed to shop. You get the frozen shit at the end of your shopping journey. Because it's the right thing and the smart thing and the safe thing to do. You get the frozen stuff at the end. That way it's not thawing and dripping water all across the damn store while you get the rest of your shit. So I look in his basket and he has like frozen pancakes, ice cream, frozen pizzas, just chilling in his, not chilling technically, thawing in his basket. And I immediately get upset. More upset than I already was. I'm like, oh, this bitch. Now, it's one thing if he was like in high school and he was doing this because he doesn't know yet. I've made stupid mistakes. When I was in high school, I washed, like when I was in high school, or even when I was in college, I washed my towels with my whites. That's stupid. Kids make stupid mistakes. But no, this dude had to be late 20s, early 30s at the least. And he was doing stupid shit like this. And so, I go about my business trying to forget, trying to embrace the warmth that H-E-B provides me. The employees in the red collared shirts, going about their business, just the vibe of H-E-B. I tried to absorb it to try to make me happy. Hell, the smell of H-E-B. H-E-B has actually, hold on. Normal H-E-Bs have a distinct smell that always just makes me feel like a kid again. H-E-B Pluses, no, they don't smell like anything. Like normal, like smaller H-E-Bs just have a distinct smell, and it makes me so happy. So I'm trying to rekindle that warmth, rekindle that happiness that H-E-B provides me, and forget about how this dude has ruined my day. So I avoid him. Like if I see a glimpse of a neon, I turn down different aisles that I don't really have to go down, just to avoid seeing this dude again, because it's going to piss me off seeing all of his frozen shit dripping and thawing out and melting, and then seeing his dumbass outfit again. So, I get everything I need, all the canned stuff and stuff like that, and then I get the milk and the eggs, and then I go get the frozen stuff, and I'm in the checkout line. And the cashier is bringing out all my stuff, it's getting bagged, and that's another thing that annoys me. I like to bag my own stuff, but because of quarantine, they have to bag it, so I just have to stand there. And then, who do you think gets in line behind me at the checkout line? That's right. Colorblind McGee pulls his cart right behind me and starts unloading his shit onto the conveyor belt. And this was strike number 3. For me. Again, I could be telling this story and none of you people who are listening could be like, none of this is annoying. Yes, it's not smart, but how is this annoying to you? It just is. It's still in my head. Because it makes no sense to me. How could he leave the house looking like this, and how could he do his grocery shopping like this? Maybe I have OCD. Never thought about that. Oh well. But let me tell you what strike 3 was. He just starts willy-nilly throwing his shit onto the conveyor belt. Putting frozen stuff next to cleaning supplies, next to canned goods, next to more frozen shit, next to his hygiene products, next to his bread, next to his fruits, next to more frozen stuff. And that did it for me. Now, I'm not confrontational. I just hope he suffers consequences for his actions. But he just was throwing stuff altogether. No, that's not how you do it. When you put stuff on the conveyor belt at any grocery store you go to, you put all the like items next to each other on the conveyor belt so they are bagged together. You make sure your frozen shit is together. You make sure your dairy products or stuff that needs to be refrigerated but doesn't need to be frozen are grouped together. You make sure your canned stuff are grouped together. You make sure your breads are grouped together. Your hygiene products are grouped together. Yada, yada, yada. You don't just throw it willy-nilly so it's all bagged together, because then it's confusing when you get home. I like simplicity. If all my frozen stuff are in one bag or 2 bags, I can just make sure that I take those out of the car first, with the refrigerated bags, bolt up to my apartment, put it all in there so that way it doesn't just sit in my car. Because I often have to take multiple trips from my car to the second floor of my apartment building. But no, this guy just lacks common sense, and he's just willing to let the cleaning supplies be with his food in the same bag. Yes, chances of spillage of the cleaning supplies onto the food are very low, but still, why fucking risk it? Anyways. But like I said, I'm not confrontational. So when I see shit that annoys me like that, I just kind of try to relax, but then I kind of like make myself happy by thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great? Like start fantasizing. Wouldn't it be great if he like suffers the consequences of his own stupidity with his fashion choices and methods of shopping? Like when I just hope in my head that when he gets home, he opens his ice cream and it's just soup. Or he's out in the parking lot after he pays for his groceries and has it all bagged up, and he runs into like a girl or a guy, whoever he finds attractive, in the parking lot, and they look at his outfit and they just start laughing at him. That makes me happy again. That gives me some semblance of like ease, knowing that hopefully in a perfect world he suffers for his poor choices in fashion and grocery shopping management. But it was super annoying, and it literally ruined the rest of my day. Like nothing else came close to like lifting me out of that sunken place of frustration. And then it lasted the next day, because for the next, like the day or two after that happened, anytime I saw neon green or orange, it just all came back to me. While I'm speaking on that, anyone who owns bathroom towels that are neon green, orange, bright yellow, bright red, those kinds of colors, gotta grow up, because those color towels don't belong in bathrooms. The only acceptable colors for towels are gray, navy blue, white, like what people would consider like darker, like bland or neutral shades of colors. Like an olive green is okay. A very muted pink is okay. Very muted yellow is okay. Anything that's super bright, no, those don't belong in bathrooms. Muted colored towels are the only way. Sorry, soapbox moment. But again, tiny shit like that annoys me. And it just sits in my head. And I'm sure that's how old people react or view the world. And if they see stuff at HEB that they don't like or annoys them, I'm sure it sits in their head too. So that's just another reason I feel like I'm old. And like, I can't get on trends either. Like, I was never able to get on any TikTok trends. Like, TikTok is all the rage with people who are like my age, maybe a little older, definitely people who are a little younger than me. But there are people my age who are doing it, and I just can't do it. Maybe it's because it takes me a while to learn these different dances. Like, I can't learn the renegade for shit. And like, social media has just never clicked in my head. I don't get it. And plus, like, I'm very cynical. It's another reason I think I'm old. God, there's so many reasons that I think I'm old. I'm very cynical because I know that once TikTok ends, it's just going to be... It's only a matter of time before TikTok ends, and it's just going to be replaced by something new. Like, TikTok replaced Vine, and Vine just kind of, like, took up the spotlight from, like, Instagram after Instagram introduced videos, and it's all just a vicious cycle. And, like, I'm cynical because, like, once TikTok dies, all these people who are super famous on TikTok for their dancing, what's going to happen to them? They're making money off TikTok, which good for them. They have a talent and they're utilizing it. But once TikTok dies or loses even an inch of its current popularity, what are they going to do? because Vine stars ran into a very similar problem. Did you know that? Did you know that when Vine died, a lot of Vine stars who had like agents, managers, were scrambling to figure out what these Vine stars could do? They sought out, these agents and managers of these Vine stars sought out like stand-up comedians and other like live performers to get them to teach these Vine stars how to perform live or how to do stand-up comedy. And the same thing's going to happen with these TikTok stars, except it's a little different because TikTok's whole like identity is like just copying dance moves and then posting it. So what are they going to do? I don't know. Again, cynical. Just like an old person. Old people are cynical on the ways that youth express themselves. I'm doing the same thing, so I'm definitely old. Or I'm just a dick. Or I could be both. And like, the last one I'd say, or not the last one, but like one of the biggest indicators that I am in fact really old, have an old soul, am an old man trapped in a young man's body, whatever. Oh, I just call myself a man. That's weird. I've always referred to myself as a kid. Huh. Oh well. Moving on. Is that I have an old personality. My whole personality is old. Like, I'm very nice, I think at least, but I'm also very like set in my ways. Like, it's very hard for me to like change, whether it's like my schedule, my outlook on life. I'm just very set in my ways, and I don't like to take opinions. That's, again, if you like go up to your grandpa, great grandpa, whoever you know that's really old, and try to tell them to change something about what they're doing, 10 times out of 10 they're going to say, no, leave me alone, I've been doing this longer than you, I've gotten this far in life. That didn't even sound like an old person. Damn, I gotta work on my impressions. But that's just me. Like, I'm very set in my ways. I'm very arrogant. Like, it's not that I don't like to do small talk. It's that it takes a lot of effort for me to do small talk. So if I've ever done small talk with you, it means that I actually like wanted to talk to you. It's very hard for me to do small talk. Like, I need a purpose. I like the quiet. I love peace and quiet. Quarantine was amazing for that. I didn't have to be around anyone who talked a lot, and I didn't have to go to like parties or clubs or bars or anything. I was just quiet all the time. I could be alone with YouTube or Netflix, or I could just be listening to music, doing whatever schoolwork I was doing or whatever. I can sit in the quiet forever. I love it. Oh, this is a very ASMR kind of vibe. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I hope that didn't startle you when I changed my voice again. I love the quiet. Old people love the quiet. I could sit, like, one of the biggest things I want to buy in life, or if someone wants to get me one, I'd appreciate it, is a rocking chair. And just put a rocking chair on the balcony of my apartment, and I can just sit there and rock for hours. And I would love it. I don't need to be out partying. My ideal like hangout scenario or like date idea would be to just like sit in rocking chairs or just outside or even inside or like in some sort of area and just like chill, talk, shoot the shit. That is fun for me. Going out to like clubs, makes me super uncomfortable. Because, again, I don't drink, so I'm always DD, and I always have to make sure I always watch out for my friends, make sure no one gets in trouble, which is fun. It's fun in its own way. I can see my friends, like, be funny or be stupid. But an ideal hangout session for me, well, like I said, or even a date, would just be chill. Sit, talk, shoot the shit, tell jokes, tell stories, tell secrets. I love it. And like I said, I don't like to take opinions. I trust myself. I trust my gut. I've gone through a lot of shit in my life. Even I've gone through shit with bad shit, horrible, like, down times over the past, 3 years of my life, 3.5 years of my life. And I was able to make some recovery, some sort of semblance of progress out of those deep times. And I'm still working myself out of those deep times, and so is my family. And I've trusted my own gut in making decisions and trusting my family. And so I don't trust the opinions of others, because they don't, I don't tell people about the deep shit I've gone through. So I trust my own judgments. It's very hard for me to take the opinions of other people, just because they won't live with the consequences if it turns out shitty. That's the only reason that I trust myself. And I don't often take opinions from other people, is because, if they give me their opinion and I take their advice and then shit goes sideways and I'm in a hole, they don't have to live with that. I have to live with the consequences. So I'd rather trust my own judgment, make those decisions, and if it's turns out shitty and I end up in a bad situation, I have only myself to blame. And then I can live with that. And if it turns out to be a good decision, I can take the credit. So yeah, that's definitely what an old person has an outlook on life like. And the last thing is I really respond or identify more with old TV shows, old sitcoms. Not necessarily old movies, old TV shows for sure. Old sitcoms from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It might be just because I grew up with those, so maybe that's why. Obviously me and my brother we would watch cartoons growing up, Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom was the shit, yo. I dressed up as Danny Phantom for one Halloween at a Halloween carnival my school had. No one knew who I was or who I was supposed to be. My mom got black pants, a black shirt. She drew the Danny Phantom symbol on with silver glitter glue. It was awesome. I got my hair spray painted white. It was awesome. But yeah, we watched cartoons, but we'd also watch a lot of sitcoms from back in the day, because that's what my parents would watch, just to pass the time. Because my mom would watch I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke Show, Andy Griffith Show, MASH. Oh, MASH was a great show. If you don't know what MASH is, get your life together and at least watch a few episodes out of the first or second season. It's great. It was a dramedy, so it was part drama, part comedy, set in the 1950s during the Korean War at the MASH 4077 Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. So it told the story of doctors and nurses and military personnel during the Korean War. And while it had very humorous moments, it also dealt with real shit, like death and war and racism. And I would watch Golden Girls. Golden Girls was a big influence on my life. It's where I got my sarcasm from. If you know the show Dorothy's Bornak, that's where I got my sarcasm or my insults when I make fun of people. It was a big influence on me. Friends, obviously, Frasier, Cheers, Will and Grace. Just old shows. And I always identified with them more. And then maybe that's where also a lot of this comes from, this maturity that people seemed to think I had growing up compared to the other kids my age. is that I was watching these sitcoms when I was like 2, 3, 4, 5. Because they obviously were sitcoms aimed at adults demographic, dealing with like adult situations. Like Cheers was literally about a bar. MASH dealt with war. So I was just aware of these concepts as I wouldn't say a toddler, but just as a child. So I knew a lot of this stuff going in before a lot of my friends did. So maybe that's also why I feel old, just because I was exposed to more mature ideas at a relatively young age. No, don't get me wrong. It's not like I knew about like sex or anything at that age. But like I heard the word like ass or whatever, depending on the show. Like I'm sure it said it in MASH a few times. So wow, there's a lot of instances that that like contributed to me feeling old right now, even though I'm only 23, which is still relatively young by most people's standards. So I hope I was able to convince you in the past 30 minutes or so that I am in fact old, or you can at least understand why I say that. But yeah, I feel like that's a good stopping point. So this has been the episode 3 of the Just Fine podcast. If you like it and you're listening to it on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at the Just Fine podcast. If you want to be a guest or want me to talk about certain topics, email the podcast at justfinepod@gmail.com. But yeah, I'm really starting to like these. It's very easy for me to like convey and talk about different topics. But yeah, my name is Donald MacPhail, and I hope you have a just fine weekend.